primary series routine today. Inhale, lifting those arms up, looking up to the thumbs. Exhale, bring the hands down and the head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, add a step or jump. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, over the toes, into down dog. Now, remember, if you get tired in down dog, all you need to do at any point is drop the knees down. You can always lift them back up, join back in again. If it feels too much on the wrist, you can go onto the knuckles, or you can even go onto the elbows, or just have a breather. Pushing the heels towards the mat, pulling up those kneecaps, drawing the ribs in, and the ears should be in between both arms. Breathing in for a count of 3 through the nostrils, and out for a count of 3 through the nostrils. On the next breath, inhale, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, bring the head down. Inhale, lift the arms up. And exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, add a step or jump. Chaturanga, either knees down from a bent knee position or from plank. Inhale, forward and up dog. Exhale, roll over the toes into down dog. Spreading those fingers wide so you have equal weight between your thumb and your little finger. Make sure the ribs aren't poking out. Pull those ribs in so that the spine is in a neutral position as it can be. And then close the mouth, close the eyes if you can. Taking your focus internally. Breathing in for a count of 3 and out for a count of 3 through the nose, and feeling the breath go into the sides and also into the back of the ribs. On the next breath, rise up onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, hands down. 3, inhale, arms up, looking up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, over the toes, down dog. Holding for 5 breaths. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3 through the nose. Each time you're in down dog position, try to get the heels a little closer to the mat, the knees a little straighter, and the back a little flatter. Should be able to hear your breath. Ujjayi breath. On the next breath, rising up onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands down. We have 2 more of A. Breathing in, number 4. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump into Chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, roll over the toes into down dog. 5 breaths to hold. Spreading those fingers wide. Shake out the neck. Loosen any tension there. And keep those shoulders away from the ears, so you're not collapsing in around the shoulder blade area. find a rhythm with your breath, a consistent, steady speed. On the next breath, inhale, rise up onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up, exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, hands down. Last one of A, breathing in, looking up. Exhale, hands down, head down. On number 7. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, over the toes. One final time for A. Again, allowing the body to go deeper into down dog position as the body opens out. Back of the legs, calves, spine, and upper back. Regulate the speed of the breath, establishing a steady rhythm. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. On the next breath, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands down. Now we do 5B. So we bend the knees. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale over the toes, down dog. Right leg forward, warrior 1. Inhale, arms come up. Pause the breath at the top. Back heel on the floor. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg forwards. Inhale as the arms come up. Then pause the breath at the top, back foot slightly turned out. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, roll over the toes. Into down dog. Again, placing the head in between the ears, in between the arms. Drawing the shoulders down. And go to the breath. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. Remind yourself if it gets too much, just to drop the knees down onto the floor. But if you do that, remind yourself to continue with the breath. In for 3 and out for 3. On the next breath, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Bend the knees, inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands down. Breathing in. Come into Utkatasana. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale over the toes, down dog. Right leg steps forward, turn the back foot out. Inhale as you raise the arms up. Pause the breath at the top. Then exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale over the toes, into down dog. Left foot steps forward. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale over the toes, into down dog, where we hold for 5 breaths. Feeling the circulation increase in the body. The heart rate, feeling the blood pumping now as we warm up and open out and loosen. Still regulating that breath. On the next breath, inhale, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, arms coming up. And exhale, hands down. You have 3 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Chaturanga, which you can do with the knees on the floor to make it easier like this. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right leg steps forward, warrior 1. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot forward, arms up. Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, holding down dog. 5 breaths to hold. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. Holding up those kneecaps. That little web of skin between the knuckle of your forefinger and the knuckle of your thumb. Make sure that's pressed down into the ground so you're not rolling onto the side of the hand. Inhale, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, arms up. And exhale, hands down. Last 2, breathing in, looking up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, either step back 1 leg at a time or jump. And then come into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, step forward, right leg, warrior 1, arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back, keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale over the toes, down dog. Inhale, left foot forward, arms up. Exhale, hands down, keep exhaling, step back, keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, exhale. 5 breaths to hold in down dog. Shoulders down. Inhaling for 3, regulating the breath. And exhaling for 3. Feeling the breath go laterally into the sides and into the back of the ribs. On the next breath, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, bend the knees and lift the arms up. And exhale, hands come down. Last one of B, breathing in. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Chaturanga. Inhale, push forward and up. Exhale, over the toes, down dog. Right leg steps forward. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, push forward and up. Exhale over the toes, down dog. Left foot forwards. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands down. Keep exhaling, step back. Keep exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale over the toes. Final 5 breaths. In down dog. Body should be feeling a lot looser. Hamstrings opening out. The spine and the shoulders warmed up. Ready for the postures to come. On the next breath, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, arms up. And exhale. Okay, hands on hips, feet about hip width apart. Inhale, look up. As you exhale, fold forward, hinge forward into Padahastasana. So 2 forefingers and the thumb around the big toe, if you can. Inhale, straighten the arms and look up. Exhale, bend the elbows and push the crown of the head down towards the mat. At the same time as you push the crown of the head to the mat, draw those shoulders back and away from the ears. Now, remind yourself, you should not feel more than a 7 out of 10 stretch in the backs of your hamstrings, in the back of the legs. If it feels like it's going to an 8 or 9 towards pain, bend the knees or pull away a little, okay? So, if it's a 5, then try to push the crown of the head a little closer towards the mat. We're looking for a 7 out of 10, 1 being too easy, 5 is average, 7 is challenging, it's mildly uncomfortable, but it's not painful. Again, feeling the breath coming into the sides and the back of your rib cage. Then inhale, straighten the arms and look up. And come straight into Padahastasana. So palms go underneath the soles of your feet. Inhale, straighten the arms, look up. And exhale, bend the elbows, push the crown of the head towards the mat. At the same time, draw your shoulders back and down away from the ears. And again, you might have to bend the knees a little. So the stretch is nothing more than mildly uncomfortable. Close the mouth, close the eyes. Take your focus internally. Breathing in slowly, calmly, deeply for a count of 3 through the nostrils. And breathing out slowly, calmly, deeply through the nostrils. Expanding those ribs at the back of the body, laterally out to the side. And then gently release the hands onto the hip and slowly coming up. Now, step to the right and just turn your right foot out to the side and your left foot is facing forwards. So right foot to the side, left foot facing forwards. And bring your arms out. Coming into Teeter, Trikanasana, triangle pose. So headlamps on the hip bones shining forwards. And then just almost like push the hips forward a little, tucking under. So you're not going to stick the butt out. Lean to the right. So lengthening this side of the waist. And without looking down, just place the hand just on the thigh. Just on the thigh. Sandwich between 2 imaginary panes of glass, one in front of you, one behind you. Start to come into that side bend, and then turn this palm at the top hand to face away from the body. Shoulders are down and away from the ears. Try not to rotate too much the hips. And then as you slide down, try not to lean your head forward or stick your butt out. Try not to break through those imaginary panes of glass. So a hand can be on the shin, on a block, fingertips on the floor, or you can grab around the big toe. Drishti, your focal point, is looking traditionally up towards the thumb, but if that's uncomfortable on your neck, then you can look down towards that big toe. Drawing those shoulders away from the ears. And just feel the breath coming into the waist and that top rib. In for 3 and out for 3. And then on the next in-breath, switching feet. Other side. Hips shining the headlamps forward. Tucking the tailbone under. Lengthen. I place the hand down. And then just gently slide the hand down as far as you can stay sandwiched between those panes of glass. So it can be up here on the shin or on a block, fingertips on the floor, or around the big toe. Feeling the stretch here in the waist of that top side and in the inner groin of that leading leg. Make sure the shoulders aren't creeping up around the ears. Draw the shoulders down. Push the hips forward, lean the torso back. And choose your drishti up at the thumb or down towards the big toe, whatever works for you. And then breathe into that top rib. In for 3. Out for 3. Noticing any subtle differences between the flexibility on your right side compared with your left. On the next in-breath, slowly come up. Switching feet again. This time, we're going to completely face front. So the back foot is going to slightly turn in. And our arms go out to the side. Opposite arm to the front leg. So stretching the opposite arm to the front leg forward. Parivrita Trikanasana. So the hand can come onto the shin. It can come onto the block. Hand on the inside of the big toe or on the outside of the little toe. Same arm as the leg. I just want you to put the thumb in the crease of that hip and pull that front hip back. At the same time, push the back hip forward. So you've got the waist is nice and long on that front hip. Turn your head away from the foot and lift the top arm up. Make sure that back heel is touching the floor. Both shoulders are away from the ears. Fingertips pointing up towards the ceiling. And as you push that front hip backwards, so you're not hip hitching on that leading leg, make sure that you don't roll onto the side of the foot. Press the big toe of the front foot down as you push that hip back. And when you do that, you might get a little kind of nerve stretch going down the leg. On the next breath, slowly coming up. Switching feet. So turning the body completely to face the opposite direction. Arms out to the side. Then reach opposite arm to the leading leg. Lean forwards. Place the hand on the shin or the block or a piece of furniture even. On the inside of the big toe or the outside of the little toe. Then turn the head away. With this top hand, of course, you can grab with the thumb that the crease of the top hip, encouraging that hip to push back. So it's not hip hitching and shortening on that side of the waist. You can also put this hand on the ribs, kind of encouraging the ribs to rotate away from the floor. Pulling up that back kneecap, making sure that back heel is on the floor. Pushing the back hip forwards and the front hip backwards, whilst pressing the big toe of that front foot down into the mat. Again, noticing and observing any differences between right and left sides. On the next in-breath, slowly coming up. And step to the front. Coming now into Parsvottanasana, step again to the right. This time you got a wider stance, turning the right foot out so it's facing forwards and the back foot facing to the side. Again, headlamps on the hip bone shining forward, slight tailbone tucking under, and we come into that side lunge. Again, sandwich between two panes of glass. First option, to place the forearm on that top thigh. And then we drop this arm down and then reach it up. And we turn and we look up towards the ceiling. So we should form a diagonal straight line between ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, ear through to that arm. And if you've got the hand here, you can really use the forearm to push this front knee over that little toe side so it doesn't roll in over that big toe. Otherwise, you can put the hand on a block. If you feel able to, provided you don't lean forward and stick the butt out, you can place the hand on the floor. Inhaling for 3. And exhaling for 3. You can also traditionally place the hand behind that leg, but actually if you place it in front, you can almost help push that knee out to the side just that little bit more. On the next in-breath, release. Switching sides. And again, as you lower the torso, feel like you're just staying sandwiched between those two panes of glass. Dropping that arm down, forward and through. Looking under the armpit. Using this forearm to just gently push that knee over that little toe side so it doesn't roll in. Otherwise, lower it onto a block or onto a floor, to the floor, provided you don't lose that alignment. Ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, ear. Looking towards the ceiling, drawing that top shoulder away from the ear so you're not hunching. Again, trying to breathe into that top rib. Doing the stretch in the groin. And on the next in-breath, slowly coming up. Switching feet again. Same posture but revolved. Parsvottanasana. So, it's the opposite arm to the leg. Okay? We twist. So various options here. You can drop that back knee down onto the mat. So that the knee is way behind the hip. Front knee directly over that ankle. And we twist. Either hands in prayer position or the Ashtanga way. One arm up, one arm down. For those of you that can bind, you can thread the hand through and interlace the fingers. There's even a choice of foot position. So the traditional Ashtanga way, slightly turned out. So you're going to get more stretch in the inner groin. I prefer being on the ball of the foot because it opens out the hip flexor, the front of the hip on that back leg. So you choose your option. And looking behind, not forgetting to breathe. Gently release. Switching sides. Twisting, either knee down, hands in prayer position, one arm up, one arm down, the traditional Ashtanga way, or you can thread the hand through and bind. Knee up, knee down, foot on its side, a little bit more stretch in the inner groin, whereas the foot on the ball of the foot, you get a little bit more stretch in that hip flexor. Looking behind you. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Gently release the hands, coming back and stepping to the front. Then back, stepping to the side again. It's time for Padahastasana, A, B, C and D versions. Slightly pigeon-toed, so ankle the toes slightly in and the heels slightly out. Inhale, look up, and then exhale, hinge forward from the waist, placing your fingertips so that they are roughly the same level as your toes. So if my toes were on the edge of the mat, my fingertips would also be on the edge of the mat. Inhale, straighten the arms, look up. And then as you exhale, if you can get the hands flat, great. And then you bend the elbows so that the elbows point backwards and the crown of the head comes towards the floor. Now you mustn't lean forward to get the head on the floor. The wider your feet are apart, the more likely you are to get the head down towards the floor. But work within the confines of your own body. If you need to bend the knees and come up a little for it to be a 7 out of 10, then that's what you got to do. Keep those shoulders down and away from the ears. On the next breath, straighten the arms, look up, place the hands on the hips and slowly come up. For B, inhale, stretch out. Exhale, hands back down. Inhale, look up. And exhale, hinge forward again. But for B, we keep the hands around the waist. And we roll those shoulders back and point the elbows up to the ceiling. Again, breathing in for 3. And out for 3. Alternatively, you could have your hands on a block or a piece of furniture, whatever works for you. On the next breath, slowly coming up. For C. Now for C, you want to interlace your hands like this behind the back. And then really roll those shoulders back and turn the elbows inwards as much as you can, because then we lift the arms up. Alternatively, you could just place the hands on the back of the hips and roll the shoulders and elbows towards each other instead. So we breathe in, clasp the hands, lift those arms up, and then we come forward into the bend and bring the arms up and overhead. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. Feel the opening around the chest and shoulders from this arm position. And then gently inhale, coming back up. Ready for D. Inhale, stretch the arms out. This time we're going to kind of make like a little pincer grip with the 2 forefingers and the thumb. And we're going to hinge forward. We're going to wrap the 4 fingers, 2 forefingers and the thumb around the big toe. Okay, again, don't worry if you have to bend the knees to do this, that's fine. Inhale, straighten the arms, look up. And then exhale, bend the elbows out to the side, east and west, as you bring the crown of the head towards the mat. Rolling those shoulders again, back and down and away from your ears. Going to the breath. Inhaling for 3. And exhaling for 3. Inhaling for 3. And exhaling for 3. On the next breath, straighten the arms, look up, place the hands on the hips and slowly coming up. Stepping together back to the front. From here, coming into Parsvottanasana. So your hands can either be like this, easier position, grabbing onto the opposite elbow, or you place the palms together, fingertips jabbing in towards your spine, and then you turn the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And if you're able to, you kind of shimmy the hands up the back as far as you feel comfortable. And then we're trying to get those thumbs and heel of the hands to touch. And we do that by rolling the shoulders back and trying to point the elbows back behind us if we can. Keeping the right foot forward, you're going to step back with that left foot. Now, pushing that left hip forward and the right hip back, we inhale, look up. As we exhale, we hinge forwards, pointing those elbows up to the ceiling and rolling those shoulders back. Trying to keep the back as flat as we can. So pushing that left hip forward and pulling the right hip back, whilst pushing that right big toe into the mat. So we're not rolling out onto the side of the foot. Keeping equal length on both sides of the waist. Again, keep those shoulders rolling back, elbows pointing up so they're not flopping down. Always coming back to the breath. In for 3 through the nostrils. Out for 3 through the nostrils. On the next breath, slowly coming up, keeping the hands exactly where they are. Stepping forward with the left, stepping back with the right. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, hinge forward, pushing that right hip forward, left hip back. Squaring off the length in both sides of the waist and rolling those shoulders back. Pressing that front big toe into the mat so you're not rolling onto the side of the foot. Again, observe any differences between right and left sides of the body. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. Calming down, slowing down the in-breath. It's naturally shorter than the out-breath. So work on slowing down the inhalation. On the next breath, slowly come up. Keep the hands where they are. Step forward with that right foot. And then very gently just release the hands and just shake out a little. Very big stretch down the forearms here, that one. So here's where you might want to get a yoga strap, as we do our standing one leg balance. So you can put the yoga strap behind the ball of your right foot, or you can use a stretch band, or you can use the belt of a dressing gown. Left hand goes on the hip, and then with that pincer grip, 2 forefingers and the thumb, grip around the big toe on the right. So we pick up the foot, left hand on the hip, and then we extend that leg out. Now, if the leg is still bent, that's fine. Otherwise, just holding on to the foot. Now, I want you to be aware of the right hand side of the waist. So you're not hip hitching like this. You really want to drop that right hip down. That's it. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. And again, just watch that the arm isn't being pulled forward. Roll the shoulder back and down. Now, gently take that leg out to the side. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Still come on. Then bring the leg back to the center. Both hands on the hips now, and just hold the leg up in the air. 5 breaths to hold, in for 3 through the nostrils, and out for 3 through the nostrils. Nice and tall. Keeping your eyes fixed on one spot. And then gently release. Changing legs. So now, taking the left big toe into the 2 forefingers of the thumb, or placing a yoga strap or stretch band or whatever you can manage around the ball of that left foot. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Staying as tall as you can manage. Trying not to hip hitch on that left hand side of the waist, pulling that left hip down. And then from here, just taking that leg out to the side. Gently coming back to center. Let go of the foot, hands on the hips. And gently lower that leg down. So, next posture, we're going to take that right heel up to that left hip. So if you've got any knee issues, what I suggest is instead just coming into Vrksasana tree pose as an alternative position, placing the sole of the foot wherever feels right for you. Otherwise, heel comes up to the opposite hip. That's right leg bent. Same arm, right arm behind the back. If you can grab the toes, the big toe with your 2 forefingers and thumb, great. If not, just leave the hand anywhere behind your back that you can manage. And then we're reaching forwards, if you can, with the other hand, either onto the shin, a yoga block or a piece of furniture, or onto the floor. Alternatively, stand up in tree pose. but it's important not to force the knee. If the hip is tight, otherwise you'll damage the knee. Then inhale, look up, come onto the fingertips, soften that knee, that supporting knee, and come all the way up before you let go of the foot. Let me change leg. Bring that left heel up towards that right hip, otherwise coming into tree instead. And then again, taking that same arm as the leg, left arm behind, grabbing on for the toes or just holding the hand behind the back. Placing the hand down onto the floor or block or the shin, whatever you can physically manage. And then go to the breath. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. And then gently look up, slowly coming onto fingertips and gently release. Good. Coming to the front of the mat. Now coming into Utkatasana, fierce pose, chair pose. So we bend and we come up. Now traditionally your shoulders are kind of going to sit above the hips, resulting in a slight arch in the back. If that doesn't agree with your spine, all you have to do is lean forward so your spine comes into a more neutral position like this. More of a chair pose as opposed to slight back extension here. Whatever agrees with your body, as long as the shoulders don't hunch. If you feel your shoulders are hunching, your elbows bending, then just separate those arms so that you can set the shoulders down and straighten the elbows. And then exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, either step one leg at a time or jump. Chaturanga, either knees down or from plank. Inhale, push forward and up. Over the toes, into down dog. Right leg steps forward, Virabhadrasana 1, right side. Make sure that right knee is directly above that right ankle. If you've got a narrow stance here, the danger is that knee shoots in front of the ankle, putting pressure on that knee joint. Now the back foot, it wants to point as forward as possible without the heel coming off. So just turn the foot just a little out to the side, just enough so they get the heel down. Too much out to the side, then the hips start to twist. So the headlamps on Warrior One want to point forwards, as do the shoulders. And then again, we lift up the arms up. Again, if you find you're hunching the shoulders or bending the elbows, better to separate the hands shoulder width so you can set the shoulders down and straighten the elbows. Again, if that extension, slight extension in the back, doesn't agree with you, you can always lean forward into a more neutral position if that helps you back. Drishti for Warrior One is looking up at the thumbs. And then straighten the front leg, but keep the hands in the air. Now you can turn that front foot in, turn the back foot out, and completely turn to face the opposite direction for Warrior One, left side. Bending that front knee, so the front knee is directly over the ankle, pushing the back hip forwards and the front hip backwards, squaring off the shoulders, either hands shoulder width apart, or hands together if you can keep the elbows straight, and then looking up towards the thumbs. And focusing on the breath. Feeling the stretch on that hip flexor on the back leg, at the top of the thigh. You might feel a little bit of work on the quad, on that leading leg, on that left side also. And then keep the legs still and open up the arms to Warrior Two. Back foot for Warrior Two. Toes are pointing to the side, whereas the front foot they're pointing forwards. Headlamps on the hip bones for Warrior Two are also shining sideways. Arms at shoulder height. And then your drishti, your focal point, is along that tallest fingernail on that front arm. Watching that that front knee doesn't roll in over the big toe, it's pushing out over that little toe. Warrior Two is a hip opener, so you want to feel a stretch in the groin. And you might feel a little stretch in those quads. Keep the arms where they are, straighten the front leg, turn that back foot in, turn the front foot out. Coming into Warrior Two, right hand side. Looking along that tallest fingernail, bending that front knee so the knee's directly above the ankle. Make sure that the torso isn't leaning forward. Feel like somebody's pulled your back arm and drawn your torso into the midline. Draw the ribs in. So the spine is in a neutral position. And then lift the back arm up. Place it down on the floor. Turn the back foot in. Step back. Chaturanga. Inhale, forward up dog. Exhale, over the toes, down dog. We next come to the seated postures. So there's a few ways that you can come into a sitting position. So your first and easiest way is to just drop the knees onto all fours and then sit down. Otherwise, you rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, and you jump, and as you jump, you crisscross the legs and then sit down. Otherwise, if you can jump through, you rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up, and then you jump, sliding the legs straight through. Coming into Dandasana, hands flat, rolling those shoulders back. Firming up those kneecaps and flexing the feet. So we're pushing out through the heels and the toes are pointing directly up to the ceiling. Inhale, reach the arms up. Trying not to curve the spine. Trying to hinge forward from the waist, keeping a flat back. We reach our 2 forefingers and the thumb around the big toe, and be careful the feet don't do this. So the feet don't turn in. Push that little toe out to the side so the feet don't turn in on themselves. Okay? If you can't reach the big toes and hook your hands around, just hold anywhere onto the shins or get a yoga strap behind the balls of your feet. Inhale, look up. Then exhale, bend the elbows and gently kind of pull your head, crown of your head towards your toes. There's a tendency to kind of just drop the head down towards the knees here, which results in more rounding of the spine. If you can kind of let those sit bones, kind of pull the sit bones out from underneath you so they're not tucking under, kind of lift them out, and then really pull on your shins or your feet to try to pull your head, crown of your head, towards the toes, which will hopefully result in lengthening the spine. At the same time, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Again, Again, feeling the breath go into the sides and into the back of the ribs. Inhale, straighten the legs. Straighten the arms, lift them up. And then again, coming into Parsvottanasana B. This time, if you can, just reach the hands behind the feet like this, if you're able to. Otherwise, again, holding on to the shins or the yoga strap, releasing the tailbone. You're trying to go a little deeper this time into the stretch, getting the hands a little further, the back a little flatter, spine as straight as you can get it, pushing the crown of the head towards the toes, drawing the shoulders back and down away from the ears. And then gently release. Now, you have a choice in between postures for Ashtanga. When I ask you to jump back, if you don't want to jump back, because it is challenging, what I'd advise you to do is just stay in whichever posture we were doing, just that little bit longer. Otherwise, if you do want to jump back, you've got a couple of choices. You can crisscross the legs like this, sitting cross-legged. And the easiest thing would be to just put your hands in front on the floor, lift your butt off, and you can either step back one leg at a time, or you can jump back and then come into Chaturanga. Okay? Up and over. Then again, you can either crisscross the legs, sit down, or you can jump through. Okay? It's all challenging. If you're able to, last option, you crisscross the legs, hands on the floor, you lift your butt up, and you thread the feet through, and then come into your so we start. I'm going to go jump to Utkatasana A, and then I'm just going to bend that leg, that right leg out to the side. Now, if you've got any knee issues and that feels too much compression on the knee, just put the leg out to the side like this instead. That's fine. This is the leg, the important leg, the one that we're stretching anyway. So with this leg, make sure it's not out to the side, it's directly in front of you, and then you're not rolling out like this. Knee points up to the ceiling, then flex the foot, pushing out through the heel. Ideal scenario, you grab the wrist with the opposite hand and you would hook behind the foot. But if that flexibility of the hamstring doesn't allow that, just reach for the toes or the shin or hold your yoga strap. Okay? So whatever works for you. Breathing in and then reaching forward and down. So you want to feel the stretch at the back of that hamstring, but also you might feel a stretch along the waist and lower back on that opposite side. Now either stay in position and stay breathing, or if you want to jump back, remember the easiest thing to do is crisscross the legs, place the hand on the floor, and then either step or jump back. Into your Chaturanga, into up dog, into down dog, and then your choice of jumping forwards, crisscrossing the legs, or jumping through, and extending the legs out. And now we do the opposite side. So this time bending that left leg. You almost got like a 90-degree angle, one knee pointing out to the side and the other foot pointing forwards. Inhale, we reach up, toes up to the ceiling, and exhale, hinge forward from the waist, hooking around the sole of the foot, otherwise grabbing the toes or wherever you can manage on the shins. And again, noticing if you have any differences between right and left sides of the body, if one is more flexible than the other, or do you feel it in a slightly different place from your opposite side? Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Either staying in position or jump back, whichever version you are used to doing. So obviously, due to time constraints, we're not doing the full primary series, so I'm just selecting some different postures on the floor within the primary series. So coming into Parsvottanasana, hands come behind you, fingertips pointing towards your butt. If that feels uncomfortable, turn the fingers out to the side or behind you. To make it easier, reverse table, you would bend the knees and it looks like that. Otherwise, you're lifting your butt up and 2 straight legs. Very important not to do this, not to round the shoulders like this. So you want to really open out the chest, pull the shoulders back, lift the breastbone up, and then drive your hips up using the power of your glutes, your butt muscles, looking straight ahead or up towards the ceiling, but don't collapse in those shoulders. Push out through the shoulders. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. If you've got any wrist issues, you can always do this on your knuckles. Gently release. And I'm just going to do a few finishing poses now. So we're going to start with Halasana, plow pose. So just remind you, you can just do a simple pelvic tilt, sort of Ardha Halasana, like this, half plow. You can also use a piece of furniture to kind of place your feet on. Otherwise, you're taking your legs up and overhead, lifting one leg in the air at a time, and then pushing the leg over. Again, not to worry if your feet don't touch the floor or your knees are bent, that's fine. Just go to wherever you can manage within that posture. Your hands can be just supporting you behind the back here, or you can have your hands interlaced along the floor, turning those elbows in. Opening out the upper mid-back. Stretching into the neck, shoulders, upper back. It's a challenge to breathe in this position. If you can, coming into Padahastasana, bending the knees either side of the ears. Again, don't worry if the feet are off the floor, your knees aren't touching, that's fine. Otherwise, you can just stay in plow pose, Halasana. Placing my hands on the back. Coming into Sarvangasana. Right leg up. Left leg up. Coming into supported shoulder stand. If that feels too much, you can just place your feet up the wall and do some nice easy spine curls instead. Or you can just lie on your back, placing the feet up the wall as a restorative pose. Viparita Karani. Try to place your hands a little higher up the back so that you can lift a little more of the spine off the floor. Placing your hands away from the hips up towards the shoulder blades. And then opening out the legs and placing them on the floor. Back into one Halasana variation. Palms together. From here, if you can, grab onto the big toes or the calves or behind the knees, and you can bend the knees and see if you can roll up to balance on the sit bones to a sitting position. Bringing the legs together. And then just bending the knees, placing the feet down flat. Coming to lie down in Shavasana. Backs of the hands on the floor, palms facing up, fingers lightly curled. And just remind yourself, if you feel a little discomfort in the lower back, it's really because we've done those last few finishing postures, those inversions, which really open out the upper back, neck, shoulders area. If those areas are tight, it will kind of feel it reflect in that lower back. If it's too much, bend one knee or both knees, whatever feels right for you. But that dull ache will eventually subside. Just mentally scanning the body now. Looking for any areas, tightness or tension. And if you sense any areas of tightness, just allow the body to soften all around. Relaxing the facial muscles, softening around the eyes and the lips, tongue feeling heavy in the mouth as you relax the jaw. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears. As we soften the belly and the chest. A sense of heaviness in the hips and the pelvis. And allowing the legs to just sink down into the floor. feeling the effects of the postures and the work that you've done today. Become the inner observer, passively noticing what arises within the body, thoughts, sensations, feelings, and emotions. Noticing the rise and fall of the chest and abdomen. Without trying to interfere with the natural rhythm. It's automatic, unconscious. You're not doing it. There is no effort. In your own time, bend the knee and gently roll onto the side into a fetal position. Placing your hands wherever feels comfortable for you. Expressing gratitude to yourself for making the effort to be here, attending class tonight. And putting your body through its paces in any way it could. Gently opening the eyes. Slowly tucking the chin in, making your way up to a sitting position, head last of all. Come into sit in Sukhasana, easy pose. And then just finishing with some deep breathing, deep abdominal breathing through the nostrils. Inhale through the nose. Let the belly expand, pushing your hands away. Hold the breath at the top for a brief moment, and then exhale. Inhale again through the nostrils. Pause the breath at the top, and exhale. One last breath through the nose. Inhale. Pause the breath and exhale, opening the eyes. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.